Edition of 76ers Fourth Quarter Live alongside Harry Mayes. I'm Eytan Shander. Not that Harry Mayes.
No, not that guy.
No, not that guy. That guy over there. We're back for another edition, and it seems to be either we get on in the fourth quarter and it's like 3 minutes left in the game, or we get on and there's like a quarter and a half left. The Sixers can't figure out any tempo. It changes by the night. And we have a big one between the Bucks, Harry.
Now, yeah, there's a lot of things to this game already, okay, that transpired.
Where would you like to begin?
Well, I mean, first of all, what are these fucking uniforms that the Bucks are wearing? These are the ugliest things I've seen in quite a while, and I've seen a lot of ugly uniforms.
They're pretty bad.
Hideous. They're freaking awful, number one. Number two is, who the hell is Eric Bledsoe to be going after? Did you see that early in this game? Like right out of the jump, Eric stinking Bledsoe. He should probably still be at Kentucky.
Yeah,
he'd be like a sixth-year senior at Kentucky, and he's trying to take out Joel Embiid. He pushes him in the back after the play was whistled dead, and then Joel Embiid flips the ball back to him, and he flings it right back at Embiid. And the analysts made a great point at halftime.
A la Abdul-Nabi?
No, I'm talking about the halftime guys, like Jimmy Lynam and those guys.
Oh,
made a great point about how a big man, when they see the ball coming at them, they're going to put their hands up. He could have gotten a finger busted up with that ball coming in at him at that rate of speed. There could have been a disaster on our hands because of Bledsoe. He got thrown out of the game. I'm telling you that there's a sentiment amongst the rest of the NBA where Joel Embiid is the marked man.
Well, they don't respect the Sixers team. There's nobody that's anywhere near either as good or better than the Sixers that respects the Sixers. And I think that what's happened is we in Philadelphia demand this respect around the league because there's some talented individual players on the Sixers team, but they haven't done anything yet with this unit.
No, I know.
And that's where I think the lack of respect comes, is that you've got
I agree with you.
Who are you?
I agree with you. It's a lot of talk. It's a lot of social media like stuff, buzz around a player, and they haven't, they won one playoff series. I hear that. But I'm just saying, is there an enforcer on this team? Like you used to have this back in the day, in the 90s and on back, where if one of your star players, now granted he's 7'3", he shouldn't need an enforcer. But my point is, who's the guy that's going to step in outside of him to sort of say, hey, get the F out of here, you punk, or I'm going to put a forearm in your jaw. You know what I mean? Who is that guy?
Michael Scott.
Why? Because he got a lot of tattoos?
No, because he just did it right now. He just issued a hard foul. Jimmy Butler. Okay. I don't want Jimmy Butler knocked out of the game in the second quarter because he's an enforcer.
I agree.
Scott at least lose.
But you know what I'm talking about.
What are
you know the guys that I'm talking about.
Amir Johnson? Like, they don't have these guys anymore in the NBA.
Amir Johnson would be the perfect fall guy for this team.
What are you, Carter? They don't have fall guys in the NBA anymore. There's no goon lineup that you send out. What was that guy's name? What was that kid's Nehemiah Ingram? What do you want?
Nehemiah Ingram from Temple.
Yeah, you want to
exactly right. See, John Chaney would have put a stop to this crap.
Your boy Nehemiah Ingram coming out there fouling the shit out of people because John Chaney's pissed off and he lost it. Come on,
dude, Nehemiah Ingram was a really nice kid. Do you know that?
Well, yeah, but I'm saying like that moment, and he'll always be remembered for just being bent out on the floor to attack people.
Now that's because Phil Martelli had red ass against Temple, and he thought that they were intentionally trying to hurt him. He wasn't. The guy just overpowered the kid. Come on. Nehemiah Ingram played football. He played football.
Well, I'm just saying. That's all. I'm just saying. Like, there was a difference.
But anyway,
that's what my point is. You're not going to find an enforcer. This is a league of stretch fours and stretch fives. There's no more physicality in the NBA anymore, Harry.
No, I know you're right. I know it's my age showing up again. I'm sorry.
Well, no, but what do you? Here's the thing. You bring up an interesting point, and it's actually something I'm going to lead with tonight on SB Nation Radio.
Oh my God! Here we go. I gave you a topic for your night show.
There's no respect. This team is not respected around the NBA. I don't care what the Brooklyn Nets or the New York Knicks, the Orlando Magic think about the Sixers. My point of it is nobody gives a shit about this Sixers team because they haven't accomplished anything. And I'm not saying that's a negative from the Sixers standpoint. I think that's just a reality we have to accept. Like, people just go after this. Giannis taking a shot at Joel. Everybody on the Celtics. Like, there's just this sense of, who are these guys?
I agree. And part of me says that's okay because they haven't earned it yet. I mean, we want them to earn it, and we think they're going to earn it, but they haven't earned it yet. The other thing is that these guys some of these guys are very prevalent and very beasts on social media, and that's a big deal. Like that's part of their aura. You know what I mean? Like, and people say, "Oh man, who's this?" Joel Embiid's clowning this team or this player in the NBA. What has he done? Granted, he's a great talent, but he hasn't accomplished anything real yet. So we're going to go after him.
Well, isn't that what we did? Now, to be fair, I think this is what we did with LeBron James. Like, we do this on every level, right? Where if somebody has not necessarily accomplished it and it's only in the NBA, we're like, well, you can't really make that statement. Like, LeBron James hasn't definitively separated himself from anybody that he can say, as the Sixers are now at, 11, as we kind of wind down this third quarter, about 4 minutes left. And again, you can hop on the chat line. You can go on the Fan Live button up top. You can go live with us. Top right button on your screen, the Fan Live button. You can pop up on the screen, talk with us. We've had Tim from North Carolina check in live at a Sixers game last week. I don't know if that's going to be
he's our all-star Fancred caller thus far.
Yeah, we got to get him something for that.
He's an all-star.
Exactly right. And I think the thing with the Sixers is that we do this, and we did it with LeBron too. Like, Joel Embiid is a special talent, but when they haven't put it together and done anything, it's going to be like, whoa, what's wrong? Frustration. Just look at how poorly they go together on defense, yet look how good individually they are talented on defense. That's going to be the same thing on a macro when this team gets bounced out, even if it's to the Warriors, which is not going to happen. But, you're going to see this exit in the postseason, and people are going to talk about, what they could do if they could re-sign Jimmy Butler, bigger things. But little stuff like that kind of creeps up, and it hasn't really been addressed all year.
Right. No, you're right about that. And then there's the other issue where Ben Simmons, and I'm hard on him all the time, and I'm not going to stop because the guy's got an unbelievable talent, yet he just doesn't take it to the level that he needs to take it to. His first points tonight, Eytan, were with 105 left in the half. 105 left in the half.
First points. Now, you have a problem with that.
Don't you?
Yeah, I think that.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
This guy dribbles the ball 75 feet, turns around, and hands it off. That's what he does. And when he doesn't do that, when he decides to take the ball to the rim, he gets to the rim. I don't understand this guy.
I don't either, man.
He's the most frustrating talent I've dealt with.
I was listening to, I want to say it was Rick Barry. Like, who's the guy? It was Amin El-Hassan, the regular host.
I can't stand Amin El-Hassan.
Well, I'm just saying, like, it was a 3-person show on Sirius XM NBA radio this afternoon. And
Would Tom Byrne hosting that?
No. Trust me, if it was Byrne, I would have let you know. But I can't remember who. It was a Rick. It sounded like it was Rick Barry. But, like, I don't know what other former GM, because it was that guy. It was like a former
Rick Bucher? Was Rick Bucher on it? He's an NBA guy.
No, but I'm saying, like, it sounded like it was Amin El-Hassan and another, like, NBA insider / former front office person. I thought it might have been Rick Barry. I don't know. Maybe not. But he was ripping Ben and, like, work ethic. and not to the point of like he doesn't want to get bigger, stronger, faster, but Ben doesn't want to work on specific basketball things, and that's stunting any type of growth in those areas that you have concern.
Well, that's news to me. I mean, I'm not privy to that kind of stuff.
I'm not either, but that's my point of it, is that like it's been brought up now all of a sudden. I'm thinking to myself, well, all we've seen is Simmons in the gym, but there's some sort of breakdown between practice and real life, and that's preventing him and this team from doing anything.
Yeah, it's like a guy, you'll see the guy on the practice tee, ripping drivers one after another. Boom. He's pounding them out there. Nice draw. Nice, he can hit the fade. But he gets up to the tee, and he's pulling an iron or he's pulling a three-wood. He don't have the guts to hit the driver when it counts. That's my analogy to it.
So what are you saying then? Like, you'll never see this, or will you grow into this? Like,
I don't know.
Here's the thing. Far too often, and it's been a narrative that's been pushed by people we used to work with, and I'm not trying to take a shot, I'm just saying, like, that's where I heard it the most, is like Jason Kidd. It took 12 fucking years for Jason Kidd to develop into a good, not Hall of Fame shooter. Jason Kidd didn't retire as Ray Allen. So Rajon Rondo, that's a better example. Rondo's not knocking threes down. He's still making a living, or was making a living, doing what he always did. But you have to be aggressive, and you have to be able to rely on and be confident in your free throw shooting. And Ben Simmons is not, for whatever reason.
Yeah, and also Rajon Rondo wasn't the first pick in the draft.
Well, that's fair.
He wasn't thought of as a generational player.
No, you're right.
He was a guy out of Kentucky that I didn't even know would be that great of an NBA player, and became a great NBA player.
Well, my point of it is that if you were telling, and I always go back to this example, if you were telling me that Ben Simmons is Rajon Rondo in a 6'11" body, then sign me up for that every single day. Like that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing. But the difference is you have to have confidence in your free throw shooting ability, that you don't disappear. Like Simmons should be on the foot. Simmons should be getting 7 to 8 free throws attempts a game in the fourth quarter alone.
I agree. If he's the guy handling the ball, absolutely.
Well, who else? Yeah. Jimmy Butler's the only other guy you want handling the ball.
Butler would be the only other guy. Yeah,
that's all they have at this point.
Yeah. No, I agree with you.
Was there a Kendall Jenner sighting tonight? I did not see.
I don't know. I have no idea. I saw M. Night Shyamalan in his usual seats. That's about it.
Right?
What?
His usuals?
His usual seat.
Where does he normally sit?
Jared says, Ben is a kid. It's an adolescence and an insecurity.
Why can't I see that?
I'm seeing this. What my point is, okay, wow. Yes, he is a kid.
Yeah, let me see the chat. Don't trust Harry with the chat.
Well, I'm looking at the chat.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like,
why can't both of us see
it? I was gonna say both is okay, but if it's gonna be one or the other, then I would defer to me personally.
Why?
Because you'll neglect and overlook.
I just saw it come in.
It's probably.
I'm giving you the chat.
It's been sitting there probably for 10 minutes. This poor.
No, it hasn't. Bullshit.
All right, go ahead. You make it.
Why don't you go do an interview with some donkey from Green Bay for your nut show and talk about stinking Aaron Rodgers and his trashing of McCarthy?
Listen.
How about that?
Doug Russell's a verified account, all right? He's got a blue check. Do you have a blue check?
No. You know what? You know why I don't have a blue check?
Because
our former station effed it all up.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Why?
They even hired a social media manager. And we couldn't get blue check. Meanwhile, if you clean I won't even try to make a statement like that. Meanwhile, if you are a part-time, you're there 2 hours a day at WIP, they'll verify the hell out of you.
Right.
Producers, everybody's verified over there.
Right.
Nobody can get verified at the other place.
You're doing Sunday night from 10 to 2 in the morning. You're verified at that other station.
No,
I know.
You're producing Sunday night 10 to 2 at that station. You're verified.
Here's the thing, though. Now we have to start putting the muscle to Mike Gill because he's the boss and he's been running the show.
Yep.
At our station now. We need to be verified.
I agree. There needs to be something that happens ASAP, sooner than later. We should.
Is Mosher verified?
Well, he's been verified because he's a national NFL reporter and he's broken stories and he's worked for multiple outlets. So Jeff is a bad example. John McMullen.
He's probably verified.
Yeah. See, we tried. We have tried to get verified on our own, but the problem is that it's been much more of a difficult process now on your own.
I've got more freaking parody accounts than you can name. Like, I should be verified.
This Mayes is that.
Yes.
You don't have any. You don't have more than Tony though. Nobody has more than Tony.
Probably not. Probably not.
Mike has a bunch too though.
Mike who?
Well, your former coworker. That's the point of it. All right. Oh. We're winding down here in the fourth quarter.
Yeah. All right. 83-79.
Here's the thing. We're going to run into a point at about 8 minutes where you're going to.
Oh, my God.
With that McConnell foul?
Oh, no. They just gave up an easy three. Middleton just banged a three.
Chris Middleton banged it.
15-5 run.
Pat Connaughton from?
Notre Dame.
Yeah, there you go. It's a good pull by you. I mean, it's here's the sequence, though.
Mike Scott. Bang.
That's the guy you wanted out.
I didn't say I wanted him out.
Yeah, man, that's the guy you wanted as the enforcer.
Well, okay.
And he would have been out of the game by now. If he had done what you wanted and punched Eric Bledsoe in the face, he would have been out of the game.
No, you're wrong again. Once again, you're putting words in my mouth. You suggested he be the guy because he has a lot of tattoos.
No, that's not true at all.
That's what it was.
Anybody who knows me knows that's bullshit, that you can't put that past. Like, I would never say, there's nothing in the history of any social postings that would say that because somebody has tattoos, I would then think that they would be
a fighter.
No, in fact,
they're a fighter.
Not at all. J.J. Redick is not a fighter.
Well, that's true. That's a good point. All right. Very fair point.
All right. I'm just saying. Doesn't always have to do with tattoos. Now, it's a 4-point game heading into the final frame here.
Yeah.
You've looked like shit for 3 games. It's looked bad at times. You didn't have Embiid. This team, I'm not going to say, this is not needs in the true sense of like, hey, if they don't win, they're screwed. But you talk about a major way to restore any type of consistent confidence and to get you really as far as motivated and with momentum heading into the playoffs, because you've got the Bulls a couple of times. You're not going to get shit off of that Bulls game 2 times over. This is a great chance to really make a statement to Milwaukee as well. This is like gearing up. And I think at this point, with 12 minutes left, to lose this basketball game would be a pretty big disappointment.
It really would be. No, you're right. And especially coming off the heels of playing so poorly against 2 bad teams. I mean, you lose in Dallas, you lose in Atlanta. And I get it, Embiid wasn't there. But look, this team has way too much talent to lose to teams like that just because Joel Embiid is not in the lineup. They don't look like the same team when he's off the court.
You know what, though, Harry? To be fair, and I'm not saying either or, I'm just saying they really don't look like the same team when Ben's out either. And maybe that's because they haven't gotten used to playing without someone who handles the basketball as much as Ben Simmons. But, you know, there were a couple of times earlier in the last, 10 days in which they've looked – Ben sat out that one game. They looked terrible.
Yeah. Well, I mean, unfortunately, that's part of what you get at this point in the NBA season. At the end of the year where teams that know they're going to the playoffs are trying to rest guys. But you're trying to get on an uptick here with the Sixers. It's a little different when you have, let's say the Celtics. Okay, they've had their lineup pretty much throughout the entire season.
Yeah.
Right. And they're trying. They've had chemistry, and they've been able to build it through the 82-game season, and you go into the playoffs. The Sixers have had a lot of tumult and a lot of roster change, bringing in, Tobias Harris, bringing in Jimmy Butler, jettisoning a lot of other players that were here for quite a long time that were part of the core. And they're trying to build a chemistry. And then when you start, taking those certain guys out of the lineup to rest them for load management, and I understand it, it's a part of the deal. I don't like it, but it's.
You have to, right? I mean, that's part of the game.
But you're trying to get in a groove, and it's kind of hard to do that.
Well, the problem is that you shouldn't be using the last 5 to 8 games of the regular season to, quote, try and get in the groove. You should be able to take, they have mismanaged it more so than anything. Kawhi Leonard, how many back-to-backs has Kawhi Leonard played this year? I think 0.
None.
Right? So
None.
They've been able to manage Kawhi Leonard while winning basketball games and it not hurting the flow. And for some reason, it just feels like this is such a jerky movement where it's almost like you've got a sports car and you can't really get it in 4th or 5th gear. You're constantly going from 1st to 2nd. You think you can open it up and 3rd, then you have to go downshift. They can't get anything going, and it's unfortunate that right now we have to rely on the last 5 or 6 games for this team to put together any sense of cohesion going into the playoffs. Because I don't think that's fair. I don't think that's fair to this team.
No, well, it might not be fair, but you're right, because after this game, there's really no other meaningful games. They play the Miami Heat and they play the Bulls twice. I mean, who cares? It's going to be a really interesting thing to see when they play the Detroit Pistons, probably in the first round. I think they'll dispose of them quickly, but I don't think it's going to be easy. I don't think it's going to be blowouts. I think it's going to be, some tight games. Then when they get into that second round game against maybe Toronto, I think they're really up against it, man. I really do. I don't see them gelling and coming together. I see a Toronto team who's a great defensive team who runs 10 guys at you. They run 2 5s at you that can play. The Sixers going to be in a real world of hurt.
Without a doubt. And that's why it's a tough matchup for anybody in the East, and that's why you kind of pencil Toronto in. And it's really about when you take on Toronto, and it's unfortunate that they'll be in the 3rd seed because Toronto right ahead of them. Yeah. But, I think that it's not going to be the same as a postseason victory by any means. But when you're able to – Milwaukee's up for this game. I don't think that Milwaukee's not up for this game. It's not like they sat Giannis. It's not like they sat Middleton. No. Right? So this is a quality victory in the span of the stretch, that final third of the regular season.
Redick is on fire tonight.
What's that?
Redick is on fire tonight.
Well, that's 2 nights now in a row and back to back. And this is what you need more so than anything. You can't, and it sucks, right? Because you can't afford to have JJ Redick go cold in the postseason. Because Tobias Harris is a given. He'll find a way to get you 20, 21 points. Jimmy Butler, we just don't know. And Joel Embiid is a given as well. But then there's that variable of Ben Simmons. And that's why it's so frustrating matching them up against Toronto, because you don't know about the consistency factor with Philly that you do with Toronto that you laid out.
All right, now we just saw a play here. Now Embiid, he's fucking running at Hill, who's on the baseline, basically the end line, shooting a 3, and he's running at him at full speed, jumping up to try to block the shot, and puts himself in peril. This guy is out of control. He really is, man. He needs to somebody needs to try to find a way to rein him in, that he doesn't need to make every goddamn play.
I don't know how often I see a guy who's above 7 foot foul a 3-point shooter.
Well,
when's the last time you've seen that?
I don't know. But do you agree with me?
Well, that's the point I'm making. Is that what the hell is that? Like that is
he almost goes into the crowd. He almost like turned his ankle in the end, near the end of the first half. And I discredit the Sixers coaching staff. They should have pulled him out of the game immediately. They waited for a while. He's hobbling around. Get him off the goddamn court.
Well,
he's your meal ticket.
He was taken in the locker room early.
That was about 3 minutes after it happened.
Well, I don't know what they're going to do with him, man. He's been doing this for 2 years now at least.
He needs to be managed.
You're not going to be able to, man. The only management you're going to get is load management with him.
Yeah, load management. I will manage him. Yeah, put me on the goddamn staff. I'll fucking manage him.
Good luck, man. I've heard things too that he doesn't listen to anybody either. Now, how do you steal and blow a layup? I'm just curious.
I don't know.
You know,
I don't know. I love the guy. Tell me, I'm not criticizing. I criticize his over effort, and if that's a criticism, any player should want. But he's just nuts sometimes.
And I don't know. I mean, are we venturing on the territory of, hey, Chase Utley, stop sliding head first, even though we know that.
Yeah, we are.
All right. Dave agrees they need to shut him down. Well, you can't shut him down for the regular season, though. You have to play him one more game again.
I agree. I think they should play him either in the last game against the Bulls for the fans, because that's fan appreciation,
man. Wow.
Or against the Miami Heat, which I think is on the road, though.
I'll say the Heat. Now, we need to figure that one out, too, right? Because that's going to be next week is going to be our final regular season edition of Fancred, right? Sixers Live, Fancred Live.
Yeah, I don't know. Fancred decides that.
Look at 7.
He just hit another 3.
Right.
I tell you, he's been stroking the 3 tonight.
He's been playing really well, and that's the big part of it is the shots. That, right?
Antetokounmpo just comes down and bangs one right in his face, too.
Unbelievable. I tell you what, though, he throws down, right? Giannis throws down, and then Embiid comes back with a 3.
Yep.
And Giannis just answers. It's picked up the last 3 or 4 minutes. This has been electric.
It's been really entertaining. It's almost like an all-star game because there's no defense being played.
Here's my question. Joel Embiid ducked. He kind of moved out of the way. He made a business decision when Giannis came down the lane and threw down. Yet he's fouling a 3-point shooter. George Hill. What the hell is that?
Yeah, I don't get that.
I'd rather you foul Giannis on a hard foul of him trying to dunk than you try to block a 3-point shot from George Hill.
Embiid's got 30 points in 30 minutes tonight, Eytan.
Yeah, he's pretty effective.
25 from the field.
Now, what about Ben Simmons?
He's a plus 10, 13 rebounds and 10 assists, and only 2 turnovers.
This is a two-man show tonight where Tobias Harris and Jimmy. No. Go ahead.
JJ Redick.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Joel Embiid and JJ Redick. This has been a two-man show. Ben Simmons has been active passing the ball. And
got 12 assists.
Yeah, but that's really it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that there's been
taking 5 shots.
Well, again, without Butler, you'd like to think that somebody would pick it up, right?
No, I agree.
You don't have Butler, so you have to think to yourself, at what point are we talking about Tobias? And this is it. Here's my thing. Love JJ Redick. Not a knock on him at all. But there are going to be nights in which somebody's disappeared. And if Tobias Harris has an off night, it's tough to rely on Redick. This is a game in which you'd like to see either Simmons or if Butler's out there take over. And to your point that you've been making for a while, we haven't seen Butler take over the reins when Embiid or somebody else is either out or struggling. Yeah,
you're right. He sort of blends into the background. And I really like the guy, and I've been defending him. And I know there's a portion of the fan base that wants him out of here. I'm not one of those guys. But he needs to show me something here in the playoffs, because if he ends up walking and blends into the background and walks, then I'm okay with it, because we don't need a guy like that to pay him the kind of money he's going to demand.
Well, at this point, you'd think LA would be the other option.
Yeah.
If he's not
whatever.
A big deal
I don't care where it is.
Well, but I'm saying for him, there is a legit option he could walk to and get paid big money and not have to go to Memphis or some miserable ass area, that team more so than area for Memphis, and be stuck down there. So there's no leverage that the Sixers would have. And I think at this point, as much as I'd hate to see him go, I don't know. I mean, I'm still going to hold some reservation for what happens in the postseason, because he's made big shots. And I think that's a big statement for somebody who is going to be faced with another big shot or two in the playoffs. And you know that if it's even if it's a big moment more so than a shot, like 3 or 4 minutes left and you need somebody to take over the game, he and Embiid, I mean, that's going to be interesting. What happens 4 minutes left against the Celtics or wherever you're playing, Raptors in the second round? And is it Simmons? Is it Butler? Who is co-taking over the game with Joel Embiid? Because it can't just be Embiid based on his position right down the stretch.
Well, it would be interesting to know what would the coach dial up. Get out the whiteboard. We're going to draw up a play for who?
Tobias Harris, if you need a 3, I can tell you that.
Well, Embiid just made an incredible move offensively in the paint.
Now we got a 4-point game. By the way, you'll like this, Harry.
Yeah.
Jared, guys, love Fancred. Your hustle on 97.3 and derailed. See? You're
oh, my God.
What?
Holy crap.
And Beats.
Lopez just made like a 30-footer.
How the hell did he make that?
What? He shot that from Doylestown. I'm not kidding you.
No, you're right. I mean, it was pretty impressive. And that came after that little floater.
Yeah.
Lopez heating up, Barry. That could be dangerous. Listen, Lopez has range. We know that. The guy has no physicality to his game. He's just a stretch 5. He's a shooter. The other Lopez is the guy who, bangs. Here you have it. Now Embiid. Now you have a game.
We got to remind people tomorrow we're out at Parks Casino in Ben Salem for the show.
Yes.
Noon to 2. Yeah.
And we'll be qualifying somebody who shows up for a pair of Eagles tickets at the home opener and, mind you, overnight stay accommodations at the beautiful Sonesta downtown in Philadelphia. So, yes, make sure you come hang out with us noon to 2. More chat in there as well. We'll get to Jeff's comments and more. Just whatever comment you have about tonight, anything else, you know how we run this thing. It's pretty open for Harry and I. And then that live button that you have up at the top right, that's how you can jump in. You've seen Tim. You've seen others pop in there as well. So we welcome anybody on the video chat as well as the comments. Jeff says, who gets the blame of this team gets bounced before they get a rematch in the playoffs with the Bucks? Well, if they lose to Toronto, I don't know if anybody gets blame. I just don't think they're good enough.
No, I will tell you this. They got to get a different coach.
Well,
they have to.
That's going to be a conversation.
They'd have to. You can't tell me that you're going to have a roster that is as loaded as this with, maybe Butler doesn't come back, maybe Tobias Harris doesn't come back, but one of them will come back. And you're going to have that roster, and you can't get past Toronto or Boston in the playoffs, you got to go. I don't care how nice you are. I don't care how cool your accent is. I love the guy too. But if that doesn't happen, he's got to go.
What was
a result-oriented business, Eytan?
You're right.
And he has to go if they can't get past the second round.
Even if they lose to a team who gets 3 games or 2 games on the Warriors in the finals, that doesn't change your opinion?
No, it doesn't matter.
But hold on. Here's the thing. Like, I'm not saying Brett Brown doesn't deserve to be fired. I was watching the replay of Simmons fouling Giannis. Sorry. I'm not saying that Brett Brown doesn't deserve to get fired. But what I'm saying is I don't necessarily know if that's the right criteria or if I agree with that criteria. If they lose to Toronto, they're just Toronto's just better than them, Harry. Like, I don't know if Flip Saunders or if Greg Popovich or if anybody else in the NBA could come in and beat Toronto with this team that Brett Brown couldn't.
Bro, you got Tobias Harris. You got Jimmy Butler. You got Joel Embiid, and you got Ben Simmons. Figure it out. If you can't get past the second round in the East with that lineup, I'm sorry. You got to go. I don't give a shit how cool you are, how nice of a white beard you have, and how cool of an accent you have. You got to go. I don't care. You're out. You're out.
That's the wrong team to hold him accountable against.
What do you mean?
Boston last year was the right team because they're not good enough.
Dude, what do you mean they're not good enough? Yeah, the general manager went out and made moves this year to get an all-star team in here, and you can't beat Toronto. You're out. You can't beat Boston. You're out.
That general manager is going to win GM of the year. What are you talking about? Hearing whatever. He's going to win manager GM of the year.
I don't care about manager GM of the year.
No, but my point of it is you can't
has to go.
Brand made
moves. There's other coaches. Go get another coach.
I'm not going to say that.
There's a million of them.
Well, what makes you think that any of those guys are going to be better than Brett Brown?
I don't know. But all I know is at that point, if this happens where they get eliminated in the second round to one of these teams, like Toronto or Boston or one of these teams, he's got to go.
No, that's different.
If I was the owner, he's gone.
You can't say Toronto and Boston in the same sentence. It's not.
Yeah,
no, Boston is not
because they haven't beaten them yet. Name me the last time they beat Toronto. They beat Toronto once in the last 14 times.
Because Toronto's a better team than them. Boston is not a better team than them. They just beat them. I'll give you that. If they lose to Boston, then fire Brett Brown. Are you happy? I'll agree to that.
Oh, my God.
You can't fire Brett Brown just because he loses to Toronto. If he loses to any other team in the Eastern Conference, I'll fire him. But if it's Toronto, I'm not going to do it.
Why? Because Kawhi Leonard is on the team?
Well, first off, Kawhi Leonard, Danny Green, Marc Gasol have made that team all better. They're much better defensively.
Marc Gasol is a relic.
That's not true.
He's a relic.
That's not true. They're playing shifts at center. He's not asked to play 35 minutes a night, and he's a defensive presence.
Well, that's because they have depth.
Yeah,
they're a 10-man
depth, but they've gotten better this year. So Toronto is head and shoulders better than the Sixers team this year. Well, I'm not going to say that about any other team for the Sixers.
I will tell you this. If the Sixers don't get out of the second round, I don't give a shit who they lose to. They got to get a different coach.
Well, we disagree on that. Jeff asked, what if they lose to Boston in the finals? They win the first two rounds, but lose to a worse team in the East finals.
No.
If you lose to Boston, I don't care where it is. I would entertain Harry saying fire him.
You gotta get a different coach.
I would say yes.
Yeah.
I think that is fair, but I'm not going to go that way with Toronto. Now, again, we'll see. We'll see how that goes. But
by the way, I don't like these gray uniforms for the Sixers either. You like these?
It's all a money grab, man. I think we're at the point right now where
I get it.
This is an uphill.
But I don't have to like it. I don't have to like it.
No, but I mean, how many new uniforms do you really like anyway? All these changes. You don't like these changes.
No, I don't.
You like what you know, and that's the old uniform.
Well, but I showed you today on our show on 97.3 ESPN that old Rockets uniform that I was bitching about.
The white with the yes.
Those were hideous.
Really bad. Mega, who do you want as the coach? Flip Saunders? What, are they going to get Flip Saunders in here? You think Flip Saunders is going to turn his back? You think Rick Carlisle is going to walk away from Dallas?
I thought Flip Saunders passed.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Pardon me. Jesus.
I mean, God damn, rest his soul. Flip Saunders. What are you doing here?
It was a mistake.
The guy was a pretty good coach.
Well, he was that's why I keep using him and Rick Carlisle as examples.
Yeah, you got to take that out of your act.
Rick Carlisle. How about that? You think you're going to pull Rick Carlisle from Dallas?
No. There's other coaches.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you're not.
There's other coaches.
Well, okay, but you can't just say fire. And I'm not saying bring me a replacement, but it's a tough road to walk where you're making the statement with Toronto. I'll agree with others, but Toronto was difficult. All right, now this thing is getting tight here. Mike Scott extends it. Sterling Brown is just taking over this game from a Buck standpoint. I don't know how this is possible, but
Sterling Brown, really?
Are
we really talking about Sterling Brown?
Well, he keeps knocking down shots. So what do you want?
My God.
Sterling Brown, man. Tobias Harris can't D Sterling Brown. Well, what do you think as far as Pat Connaughton's chances of shutting down J.J. Redick in the stretch?
0.
Because that's going to be the matchup to watch right now, right?
Now Embiid just bricks a free throw right off the back of the rim.
Oof.
I'll tell you what, Ilyasova has gotten a lot of minutes tonight. He was defending Joel Embiid the first half and not doing a half bad job. Well, it was amazing.
Yeah, he knows him, and I know that's probably it, right? Just playing and practicing and going up against him.
Yeah.
Here we have it again, the tight game, that element of it, and this is going to be a big test. You're at home. This is a playoff atmosphere. You have the best team with the MVP in the house.
It is a playoff atmosphere as far as the teams. I'm not sensing it from the crowd.
Really?
The crowd is on edge. The crowd is edgy.
Why do you think? Because I have it on mute, so we can do the Fancred Sixers fourth quarter live here at Harry.
Right.
You at
pump it up. I'm going to pump up the volume. I don't hear anything outside of the stupid music that they play.
Well, they play good music. They actually play a lot of old school hip hop.
Yeah, it's just stupid.
What do you want to hear?
I don't want to hear any music. I want to hear the basketball. I want to hear the
raw sound.
Speakers. I don't need music at my NBA game.
Well, I hate to break it to you, but a lot of people down there do.
Yeah, I know.
That's like the version thing. You're not gonna.
And that is one of the reasons why I don't go.
Well, you're missing out, man. You're missing out on some good music.
No, I'm not.
I'll tell you, man. This game here, they cannot separate themselves at all. As Embiid missed, the complete side of the backboard. 3-point game, 3:12 left. Do you want any type of favorable odds that the Bucks win this? Would you take that?
What?
Would you take a final play on the Bucks? 3:12 left, down 3?
No, I'm taking the Sixers.
You're putting easy money on the Sixers?
Yeah.
Man, I'm telling you.
You look at this Bucks lineup, dude.
What about it?
I mean, Antetokounmpo's great. I get it. Lopez, average. Middleton is your second best player. There is no way if you get in a playoff series with this team that you should lose to the Bucks.
I agree.
No way.
There's no team that I would say that about.
I don't care what they did in the regular season. It's like a hockey team winning the President's Cup. It doesn't mean shit.
Well, here's the thing. Giannis will win the MVP. The Bucks
deserved.
Well, yeah.
Deserved.
The Bucks might. I have to check again, but do they have the best record overall? 58. Yeah, so they'll secure that.
Let me check.
Let me check. Yeah,
let me check.
They've got that by 2 wins.
Hey, Malusis, can you check here?
Malusis. Moose is a good guy. You keep bringing him up and ripping him, man. Moose is a good guy.
Yeah, they do have the best record. They got 58 wins compared to Golden State's 53.
Is that right?
And in the second, Toronto actually has 56.
Right, so they're ahead by 2. That's what I was saying. They're ahead by 2. I misheard you. Sorry. Yeah, they're ahead by 2 in the East. What's that?
It doesn't mean crap.
No, my point of it, though, is that they're going to have the best record. They're going to have the MVP, and they may not make the finals. Like, the odds-on favorite has to be the Toronto Raptors to represent.
Oh!
Big shot. Big shot, Scott. You like that?
Mike Scott, Big Shot Scott, was a Temple recruit. John Chaney had him. He committed. And then as soon as John Chaney he retired, he flipped to Virginia. That's a fact.
Man, Virginia could really use him because he can shoot a three, and they
could. You goddamn right about that.
My God, I can't watch that team play basketball. I refuse. It's awful. It is absolutely awful.
Yeah.
Tough. Here we have an opportunity to close the team out. Imagine that. Like, you're up 5 with 2:30 to go, and you have a chance to close a team out. This is it. Like, we don't see this at all from this team. We don't.
No.
We don't see them take advantage of this. You know?
This is interesting.
What's that?
This is interesting. No, really, just what you said. Like, a chance to close the team out, especially a quality team.
Meanwhile, Giannis is 45.
Yeah, I know.
Not enough.
He's the only show, man. I'm telling you, he's great. He's
That'll
awesome.
lead the night tonight that Giannis had 45. Meanwhile, Joel Embiid's, you know?
Yep. I'm telling you, I actually, I know it's not going to happen. I wouldn't mind flipping down to the 4 seed to get Indiana and then get Milwaukee in the second round, but it's not going to happen.
You and your 4 seed, just to get by, just to coast.
Hey, I'm all about coasting.
Harry is more bitter than tonight, according to Joe.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, what's up with that? You are a little bitter tonight.
More bitter than Francesa?
Well, Joe said that.
Wow.
Jeff, Sixers can't separate against anyone in all caps. Exactly, Jeff. It's so frustrating to see. Megan, where does Malusis fit among best names Dog could have say over and over again? Moose. Moose.
I mean, Mark Malusis.
Here's the problem with Moose is that he knows him and he's worked with him, so he knows how to say his name. Like first,
Medusa.
Right, he couldn't say my name at first, but then once we started working together, he knew how to say my name. So it's all about guys' names that he doesn't know how to pronounce because he either doesn't know them or he's never said it before. That's why you go, like, instead of saying Manila envelope, Dog would be like, hey, this Manila envelope.
Vanilla. Speaking of that, the Mad Dog channel. Yeah. We got to get Babchick. Babchick, we got to get him on the show next week.
What day? You tell me the day. I'll tell you.
I don't know, but I know Lisa Ann is coming to Cheerleaders. He has a relationship with Lisa Ann. I do too. I think we need to get the whole thing going.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
How do you want to set it up?
I'll set it up.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, Brooke Lopez, shooting foul. Unbelievable. This team is melting down as George Hill takes that step back.
Well,
what do you think?
Disconcerting. Now Embiid hits a free throw. They're up 2. Another free throw coming.
Yeah,
1:30.
This is a chance right now, up 3 points, to win this stupid game.
Are you ahead of me again, you freaking prick?
I'm at 124. I have 124. I have a 2-point game.
Yeah, so am I.
All right. So
now it's a tie game.
Correct.
All right.
119. Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, here's Ben Simmons. Let's watch what Ben does.
I have 119, 117. What the hell are you talking about?
Oh, my God.
George Hill just put him up. You're out. Your connection is out, man. What's going on with you? You ready for this?
You told me that we were together, and now all of a sudden, boom, you go into another orbit. Just like you.
Wait, is that next Tuesday or is that this coming Tuesday?
What Tuesday?
Like a week from this Tuesday or this coming Tuesday? I know, because technically that's what we're trying to figure out when we're on next for the season. It's the season finale. So we'll be on for the season finale. Are you ready for that?
Yeah.
That's next.
I'd like to know where you're getting this information.
From the chat.
I don't see it on the chat.
Yeah, we like to keep you out of these things.
Yeah, well, fuck you. Okay?
Wait a second. Tuesday, April 9th is the second to last game. So we're just trying to figure out if that's the following Tuesday. I'll let you know, all right?
Yeah, thanks.
But Miami is the second to last game. So it looks like it's going to be Tuesday for you and I. That's going to be different to see if they actually sit anybody for that game, knowing that they've got the Bulls.
That game's going to suck.
Well, it's not going to be as bad as the Bulls game.
Tuesday is Miami.
It's not going to be as bad as Wednesday. The Bulls game is going to be brutal. Nobody's going to play it.
I agree. But Tuesday is at Miami.
Right. Now, let me ask you a question. Did you see this tweet earlier from Rochelle Ryan?
No.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
No.
Verified porn star?
No.
She says, I'm like a sea hair close to putting this washed-up New York Giants player on blast, and then went silent and went dark. And everybody in Philadelphia is trying to figure out which Giant has been swarming her inbox. It's big stuff, Harry.
Oh, my God.
Dude,
they're gonna lose this game.
Yeah.
They're down 4 now.
What the hell just happened? Like, Embiid gets blocked. They can't hit a shot. Giannis has completely stepped up on both ends. That block was ridiculous, by the way. I mean, he was
I'm telling you this, dude.
And Sterling Brown puts him up.
This coach is on thin ice.
Well, hold on a second. They turned the ball over. Like, Embiid gets blocked and then turns the ball over, and that's how they go up 4. Are you going to put that on Brett Brown?
Yeah, because where Embiid is positioned on the goddamn court
He's
on the offense.
out of the key. Listen, I don't think Brett Brown is Rick Carlisle, but at the same time, I don't know how you can absolve these guys from turning the ball over. They're so sloppy. They are so sloppy down the stretch.
In any other sport, when we see turnovers or poor play, errors in baseball, we blame the manager. Why are we not blaming the basketball coach?
Because he's not turning the basketball over. Joel Embiid.
Well, we do it to all the other coaches. Why is that?
It's a different sport. That's
what is your pass for Brett Brown? Who gives a shit?
It's not a pass. What I'm saying, though, is by blaming Brett Brown for turnovers, you're in turn giving a pass to the players.
Yeah. What are you going to do? Get rid of the players? You're gonna get rid of some of the starting 5? You know how this works, dude.
No, it's not get rid of, but you have to blame. You have to be able to hold Joel Embiid accountable for something. I know he's great on Instagram and he's got a nice new puppy, but you got to be able to hold him accountable for something. The player lost this game tonight.
Why does he have the ball in his hands in certain spots 25 feet from the basket? That is not the offense that I would run.
He's not that far out. When he turned the ball over, he was 3 feet out of the key.
He turns the ball over everywhere.
That's the point. It doesn't matter if he's down low or if he's at above the three-pointer, Harry.
So coach him.
He doesn't. That's the difference. Okay, that's the difference. You can hold Scott Kingery accountable for not listening to coaching all you want. You can hold Carter Hart, anybody else. The NBA is different. These guys, the NBA coach, that's why Calipari's not in the NBA anymore. He signs that comfy deal in Kentucky. You can't control NBA players. They control you. If Joel Embiid doesn't want to listen to Brett Brown, then he ain't going to listen to Brett Brown.
And that's why Brett Brown gets fired.
That's fair, but I don't think that it's warranted, and that's the difference. That's where
I don't give a shit if it's warranted.
Well, you should.
I'm not saying it's warranted.
Because then you're going to see the same problems over and over again.
Well,
who
whatever.
are you going to bring in that Joel Embiid's going to respect and listen to?
I don't know, but I know he doesn't respect this guy. That's the way it looks.
It does look that way. And this game's over.
This is an awful loss.
Brutal loss. Although technically,
and that guy right there, Ben Simmons, is not doing enough.
No, he disappeared.
He's not doing enough. I got big problems with him. I tell you what.
Listen, I can't believe we went from asking if the Sixers can finally close a team out to now looking at the Bucks doing just that. Like, this is going to go down as a 5+ point margin of victory. They win by 6. That's not a tight game. That's a closeout. I know it was tight towards the end and free throws made it, but when you look at the overall stat of it, the Bucks just closed the Sixers out.
Yeah, they did.
That is as bad as it gets.
Yep.
Wow, I'll be on Fox 29 tomorrow, 6:45, talking about this.
Great.
Yep.
Will you be promoting the show?
Yes.
Yeah, probably not.
Well, it's all on Jarek. Listen, if the show doesn't get promoted, then
don't blame Jarek. Jarek is a pro.
He is a pro, but I can't just – I got in trouble one time for hijacking the segment. They told me don't do that. All right?
So do it again.
Well, I like to go back on. I'm not going to risk –
It's not like you're not getting paid.
Yeah, that's the whole point of it. They'll replace me left and right. There are a lot of people on TV that aren't getting paid. There's a guy doing 4 hours on TV not getting paid for that show.
I know.
All right. Is Ben Simmons actually better this year compared to last year? Asks May.
I say no.
I don't think it's changed. Okay. Well, no. Hold on. He has improved as a defender, and he has improved as a facilitator.
Oh, great.
Great. That's where he has improved. The guy is a near elite.
He was already good at those things.
But he's gotten better. My point of it, he's now an elite perimeter defender.
Great. He was already good at being a facilitator and a defender. How about being better at being a shooter and a goddamn point guard?
Let me ask you a question, okay?
0.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
I'm off the air this morning at 4 a.m., right? I have to be down there at 6:45, 6:30. Would you sleep or what?
Here's what I would do. I would blow them off. I'd blow the box off.
You just flipped faster than the Sixers with a lead, 2 minutes left in the game. You want me to hijack the segment, and now you want me to blow them off?
No, to me, I would not do the segment anyway. They used to have me do that stuff, and I got sick of it because they wouldn't pay me, and I was just like, yeah, screw it. I'm not answering the phone calls anymore. Well, and then they thought I was a jerk off.
Well, I'm like, you are.
Yeah, whatever.
That's the difference.
I don't give a shit.
Well, then you can't. Then you can't brag about being a jerk off and then complain when people have problems with you being a jerk off.
I'm not bragging about it, and I'm not complaining about it.
No, I'm just saying. Okay.
Why did everything get so dark in your world?
Is it that bad?
Yeah, it got dark. Now you're back.
I'm at the mercy of what's going on with the TV.
Oh my God, the TV.
Look, I got the whole backdrop there.
The TV with no cable.
We watch TV every day that you've been here, have we not?
Yeah, not TV that I would want to watch.
You were watching golf earlier. What the hell are you talking about?
You were showing me that goddamn Tony Leodora show, which I wouldn't watch.
Who is that guy?
If I was on my deathbed, I wouldn't watch that show. Don't get me started.
What's his deal? Is he selling putters out of the back of a truck?
He's America's Guest, and he's getting paid for it. So God bless him.
America's Guest. I never heard of him. I live in America. Yeah. Is he a local guy?
Yeah.
Where's he out of?
I don't. I'm not going to get specific.
Good.
All right.
Good. Okay.
All right. I'm about ready to go. We're done.
Not yet. I'm going to hold you for 60 more seconds.
No, we're done.
Well, hold on. You're not going to get paid unless you stay here till 10:45. We're back Tuesday night, okay? That's April 9th, second to last game, Sixers Heat. All right? Look at you, man. Are you looking at yourself?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I am.
Can you see yourself right now?
Yeah, I'm looking at myself. What are you talking about?
We're back Tuesday night against the Heat at Harry Mayes TU at Shander Show. Again, we're back 12 to 2 at Parks Casino Friday, and you can come out and win a pair of tickets to the Eagles home opener. Follow along. Derailed is up. It's up on iTunes, the new episode. Will you put a freaking tweet out that Derailed's out, please?
I retweeted your goddamn tweet.
It doesn't work that way. You have to originate tweets, okay? Please. I'm not asking much. Just originate a tweet, and I'll leave you alone, okay?
A tweet.
Just originate the tweet, and I'll leave you alone, all right? Can I get you? Can you get confirmation live on Fancred that you'll tweet it out so I can hold it to you?
Yeah, I'll fucking tweet it out. Right, okay.
For Harry Mayes, I'm Eytan Shander. Thanks to Fancred for hosting us. We'll be back Tuesday night, second to last game of the regular season. Again, at Harry Mayes TU, at Shander Show. Thank you all for joining us, interacting. Make sure you stay on the Fancred app. Continue to interact all week. We appreciate it. For Harry Mayes, I'm Eytan Shander. See you.